We've all been told the lie that the ECB can't do what the Fed does. It can't intervene in the markets the same way, buying up toxic debt in order to support the financial system. There are more restrictions. This is now admittedly a lie. They have been doing this for years, approved under extreme circumstances. The next level has been exposed. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we are going to discuss how the ECB admits that they are supporting hundreds of corporations, and I will show you that list, so stay tuned. Let's begin first with this. We are going to talk about what the ECB has done, but first you need to know what the CSPP is, and that is the Corporate Sector Purchase Program. This is integral to the success of the EU at this time. It can't go on its own, so they need to print money and they support these corporations. That's the way it works. You need to keep the shareholders happy, and they'll go about this by any means necessary, and if that means directly giving money to these companies, well then, it's just the way it is. In effect, it's a bailout. Technically, it may not be considered a bailout in some ways, but the way I see it, it's a bailout. This here is a fancy chart from the report that they've provided, but I'll just get into the nitty-gritty. Let me begin. Remember, this is directly from their own website, okay? Purchases under the CSPP are made in both the primary and the secondary markets. Since its inception, 15% of the holdings have been purchased in the primary market. We are talking about billions of dollars going directly to support corporations. Essentially, it talks about how the fact that, where this is all going. I don't think it's that critical to get into this. Essentially, just remember what I've noted here is that it is, in fact, integral to the health of the EU that the ECB is printing money and effectively bailing out corporations. Let me go into this further. Right here, the composition of the CSPP holdings generally mirrors that of the CSPP eligible bond universe. CSPP holdings stood at $92 billion as of June 2017, corresponding to 11% of the CSPP bond universe. Holdings are well diversified in 950 securities, 200 issuer groups. What we have here is these different corporations, which I'll show you in a moment. They give up these debt instruments, and then companies, investors, can go out on the market and buy them. They'll say, okay, I can buy a little bit of debt from, I'll just name a company, Bayer. They go out and say that I'll give you 2% on your money. Go ahead, buy this bond. We give the money back. An investor sees that as a potential to make a little bit of yield. So they go in and they purchase it up. It's a fairly simple system. However, things are a little bit different right now because there aren't enough investors out there to buy it all up. So what do? Well, they get the central bank to do it. And there is an infinite amount of money that can be printed by a central bank because they have the printing press. It's all digital now. You don't even need trees anymore. Don't worry about those lumber prices rising because it's all digital. It's free. It's free to print, right? Well, hundreds of different companies are in dire straits and they need the ECB to print money and buy up their garbage debt. That's what's happening right now. Now look, they're talking about the different rating agencies, different ratings of these products. Let me just cover this last point. 12% of the CSPP holdings were purchased at negative yields. Oh, sure, they were above the deposit facility rate, but it doesn't matter. They're purchased at a negative yield. That is the kind of quality of products that they're buying. These corporations can go out there and issue their garbage debt, toxic, sick, the worst of the worst. This is the leprosy of the financial world, and central banks have to go in there and buy it all up. It is unbelievable, to say the least, that the governments around the world are still doing this today. But I've been told countless times from people in the alternative, from people in the mainstream, and from your average individual around, that everything is getting better. Why the hell are they printing up billions of dollars and bailing out corporations every single day? Not back in 2010, not back in 2009. It's happening today. It doesn't happen geographically all at the same amount and the same timing. Not at all. It's completely asynchronous. But it's going on in Europe right now, and it's going through backdoor channels through the Federal Reserve. Bank of Japan is doing it. China's doing it. You see Switzerland doing it. I mean, everybody's doing it. Might as well join the club. Well, that's what's happening right now. This, though, is a little bit different in that they are admittedly bailing out corporations. So let's get to it, all right? Stop ranting. Let's get to the list. Unfortunately, it was in an Excel format, so I just took a screenshot. But from this, you'll get a good idea. And I purposely scrolled through the list and found one that I liked, and that is Bayer. You may know Bayer, formerly known as IG Farben. That's right. One of the few companies that was totally fine after the World War II. Everything was bombed out, but of course IG Farben, totally fine. And you look at BMW, Alliance, you look at Volkswagen, and it goes on. Okay, lots of different very popular companies you may recognize here. They're bailing out their friends. That's what's happening right now. And they're doing it publicly. This is from, I think it was actually UBS, which brought this information out, but it doesn't matter. It's public. The information is public. It's right there in front of you. Central banks are printing up money, supporting corporations. There is a collapse. It is being prevented by the central banks, and it is done so at the expense of you and I. But if I say it, I'm crazy. If you say it, you're crazy. You're not allowed to say collapse because everything is just fine. The stock market is continuing to go higher. Therefore, you and I, we're crazy. We're conspiracy theorists. We're bringing the market down. We are fear-mongers, and congratulations, everyone. You and I, we're both in this together. The truth is a lot harder to take. And I'm glad you and I are in this together. If you found this video informative, please give me a thumbs up. Remember that giving me a thumbs up pushes these videos higher up in the YouTube search rankings, so I do appreciate that very much. And last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know you'll find my books, The Money GPS, and my new release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. You can flip through the books. At Amazon, they have this look inside feature. It'll give you a few pages that you can actually flip through. So check it out. The links are in the description. Don't forget to also check out themoneygps.com. I've got the t-shirts on there. I've got the audio books on there for those who are not into reading too much, or they don't have the timing. They want to listen to it in the car or on their iPhone or whatever it is. You can check that out there, themoneygps.com. Take care.